conscious dreamers and non-conscious dreamers. Yet in part 1 we have covered the foundational books, the ones that every single person on this planet should read, ideally in elementary school, the one that gives you the core understanding of who you truly are, how you are the sole creator of your own reality, and how you can change it for the better. But the Seth Material doesn't stop at foundation. It goes so much more deeper into areas that will stretch your mind, expand your consciousness, and shows you the dimension of yourself you never knew existed. So let's dive in, starting with the book where it all began, How to Develop Your ESP Powers. Before Seth Material became the revolutionary body of work it is today, before Seth Speaks and before the nature of personal reality, there was Jane and Rob in 1963 sitting in front of Ouija board, not understanding what was about to unfold, and this unfolding have changed everything. What you are going to discover in this book is that the abilities something are reserved for gifted few, or those who perceive them as imaginary or non-existent, unfortunately, such as telepathy, precognitive dreams, clairvoyance, are yours already. They are not special powers. They are your natural abilities, the abilities of your own consciousness. You just are not paying attention to at the moment. And this book shows you exactly how to start. Most people perceive ESP, extrasensory perception, as something mysterious or unscientific, something to be skeptical about. However, nothing can be further from the truth. Our inner senses, those characteristics are part of inner senses, operate constantly, whether we acknowledge them or not. Ignoring them does not make them disappear, but unfortunately pushing them away from our mind into the corners of our mind means that we are not using the most extraordinary parts of ourselves. Jane and Rob share their own personal experiments throughout this book, their results, their discoveries, their own experiences when Seth came first through Jane. So you are not only getting a theory, but lived experience. What you walk away with from this book is not just knowledge, it is completely new relationship with your inner world, because once you start to run your own experiments and pay attention to your precognitive dreams, to your telepathy, to your own mind, to your own inner knowing, you will not be able to unseen it, and you realize that your days are filled with it. Your inner senses are operating and were operating constantly. This book teaches you how to listen. Moving on, The Unknown Reality Volume 1 and Volume 2. The ones for our scientists and physicists. Majority of people go through their lives only using fraction of their consciousness, not because the rest is unavailable to them, but because nobody ever told them that it is. That is exactly what these two volumes do. What you will get from The Unknown Reality is something that no other set books provide you in this way. 17 structured exercises specifically designed for you to stretch your mind and explore dimensions you never thought were available to you. I will read one of those exercises for you later on to give you a taste, but before I do that, let me tell you what these books are about, because when I went through the chapter list, it just shows how extraordinary it is. Probable selves and how they work in your daily life, how your cells operate, simultaneous dreams, the unused areas of your brain, faster than light activity, and the traveling consciousness, families of consciousness, the ones you decide to belong to. For example, Atlantis, the consciousness of trees, the evolution as seen through religion, science, and philosophy, to mention few. And then there is this, where Seth compares human psyche, human mind, to a multi-dimensional TV set. Think about it, sit with it for a moment. Your mind is not limited to only one channel. It has access to infinite numbers of channels. We have just not learned how to change the channel, how to change our focus. But those two books help you exactly to do that. Seth says something that completely stops you in your track. Listen and feel these 4 words. You are the unknown reality. You are the unknown reality, my dear conscious dreamers. Unknown reality is not somewhere out there. It is made of you. Some believes that to understand the reality, our physical reality better, you need better science, better technology, better tools, better instruments. But the unknown reality shows you what a true explorer of this universe actually is and means. So let me read you practical element number 8. But before I do so, let's have a read on Einstein, which I found quite topical because the unknown reality is also for our scientists and physicists. Einstein was able to listen to the inner voice of matter. He was intuitively and emotionally led to his discoveries. He leaned against time and felt it give a wobble. The true mental physicist will be a bold explorer, not picking at the universe with small tools, but allowing his consciousness to flow into many open doors that can be found with no instrument, but with the mind. Isn't that wonderful? So, my dear scientists and physicists, follow Einstein. You will discover a lot more than what you are discovering now. Let's move on. Practice element number 8. Using your conscious mind as a threshold, however, you can discover still more. Figuratively speaking, stand where you are. Think of that moment of conscious awareness as a path. Imagine many other such paths all converging. Again, imaginatively take one of them in your mind and follow it. Accept what you experience uncritically. To some small extent, you are altering your consciousness. Of course, you are not altering it at all. You are simply using it in a different fashion and focusing it, however briefly, in another direction. This is the simplest of exercises. What you get from these 2 volumes is not just knowledge, it is completely new relationship with your mind. You realize that you are not just mere passenger of your own consciousness, but its explorer. So let me give you a little teaser once again. There is unknown reality. I am part of it, and so are you. Each individual is a part of the unknown reality. To explore the unknown reality, you must venture within your own psyche, travel inward through invisible roads as you journey outward on physical ones. I hope that in this book the reader can see the greater dimensions that touch ordinary living and sense the psyche's greater magic. Beautiful. I hope it inspires you to travel inward into your own self, my dear conscious dreamers. Moving on, the nature of the psyche, its human expression. The one for psychologists, sociologists, and anyone working in human behavior. But honestly, it is for each and every one of us, because we each have psyche that is so much more extraordinary than we were ever thought. This is what will stop you in your tracks. Your psyche is neither male nor female. It never was. It is unlimited. And every way you express yourself, your body, your sexuality, your desires, your pleasures, is your own unique human expression of your unlimited psyche. Nobody in the history of our existence was as you, and nobody ever will be. This is something to celebrate because you are not here to justify your existence. You are here to be yourself, your true you, because you wanted to be you exactly the way you are. Most of us were taught that the mind, the psyche, is something to be analyzed, diagnosed, and fixed. Psychology has spent decades trying to map human behavior from the outside. Seth, of course, comes from completely different angle, which is from within. From the understanding that your mind, your psyche is not broken, it's magnificent. And the only reason you can't perceive that yet, it's because you are searching for meaning in the wrong direction. The true meaning of you lies within, and this is exactly where you need to start looking. What you are going to discover in this book goes far beyond any psychology textbooks have ever told you. Seth covers the true origins of love, why love is the basic language from which all spring, the bisexual nature of humanity and its spiritual and biological significance, the importance of gay and lesbians, and now people identified beyond the binary, the power of your dreaming psyche, how your dreams can help you prevent chronic illnesses by providing therapeutic information your conscious mind cannot get in any other way, and simple exercises to help you expand your awareness of the deeper portions of your psyche, of your mind, and stretch your abilities to their full potential, and just enough to make you want more. Let me give you a little treat. The psyche is a gesture of ever energy in which your own identity resides, inviolate yet ever changing as you fulfill your potentials. You are your psyche's living expression, its human manifestation. Yet you allow yourself often to become blind to brilliant aspects of your own existence. Moving on, the individual and the nature of mass events. The one for politicians. This book asks a question majority of us have never asked. We are learning that our physical realities are created by us through our thoughts and feelings, which combines into expectations. But how does the individual realities of all those billion people combine to create one mass reality? Wars, political turmoils, natural disasters, epidemics. How that these all happen? This is the book that answers that question, and the answer is both humbling and empowering, because Seth reveals that there is not a random disaster, no epidemic strikes from nowhere, no catastrophe happens to an innocent bystander. Every mass event, however devastating, therefore begins with belief. Individual beliefs combine and merge and eventually materialize into a shared mass experience. Seth also introduces us to Framework 1 and Framework 2. Framework 1 is our physical reality, where we can touch, smell, feel. Framework 2 is the inner world from which Framework 1 springs and is maintained. It is our creative source. Please know that we are not externalized. We are part of the Framework 2. However, knowing this, you can use to draw enormous amount of strength, vitality, creativity, because you are aware of its existence, unlike majority of the people. This is a place where your inner self resides and where all your manifestation and reality creation begins. So take advantage. This book also goes deep into the unconscious beliefs operating in science, medicine, religion, and methodology. It looks at Darwinism, Freudism, religious cults, not to criticize them, but to show exactly how those powerful collective belief systems shape the world we each live in. And then there is section 4, the practical idealist. These chapters are just simply extraordinary. So let me give you a little taste what to expect. Many people want to change the world for the better, but that ideal seems so awe-inspiring that they think they can make no headway unless they perform some great act of daring or heroism, or envision themselves in some political or religious place of power, or promote an uprising or rebellion. The ideal seems so remote and unreachable that, again, sometimes any means, however reprehensible, eventually can seem justified. To change the world for the better, you must begin by changing your own life. There is no other way. You begin by accepting your own worth as a part of the universe and by granting every other being the same recognition. You begin by honoring life in all of its forms. You begin by changing your thoughts towards your contemporaries, your country, your family, your working companions. You cannot love your neighbor, in fact, until you love yourself. And if you believe that it is wrong to love yourself, then you are indeed unable to love anyone else. For a start, you will acknowledge your existence in the framework of nature. And to do that, you must recognize the vast cooperative processes that connects each species with each other one. If you truly use your prerogatives as an individual in your country, then you can exert far more power in normal daily living than you do now. Every time you affirm the rightness of your own existence, you help others. Your mental states are part of the planet psychic atmosphere. And that's why it is not enough to just have ideals. We need to take steps, however small, towards its realization. And once you decide to embark on your own ideals, on beautifying your own reality, you will see how many doors will open for you. And as the time passes, you will be able to look back and you see how from one single seed, from one single step, a beautiful flower, beautiful tree has emerged. What you walk away with from this book is that once again you are reminded that you are not powerless and that every little thing matters, or everything matters, or nothing matters. Let me overwhelm you a little more, but in a good way, my dear conscious dreamers. With fascinating and inspiring implications, Seth asserts that the personal impulses we are often thought to see as dangerous, chaotic, or contradictory are instead crucial to the best interests of the species and the natural world, for they lead us to live not only as loving caretakers, but as partners with other species. Only people who trust their spontaneous impulses can be consciously wise enough to choose from a myriad of probable futures the most promising events. Conscious dreamers, you know what I was thinking? Do you think that some people will think this is all made up? That all those books that we have covered, the beautiful topics we have touched upon, such as the existence of inner senses, our value fulfillment, our consciousness, our psyche, our dream world, is just someone's imagination. I think it's about time we start to tear down all those small limiting structures we have led to believe that we are. We need to remember our own multidimensional blessed nature, and that our environment is conscious, alive, and responding to our mind's wishes. From me to you, with the joy of creativity and of physical existence. Stay curious. I'll be back with final part 3. Until then, I wish you well, and I'm sending you a lot of kisses. Ciao!